Hi everybody, it's so lovely to be back recording another episode. Welcome to day 10 of 21 Mindfulness Inspirations. Today we are focusing on the word generous. I'm so glad that you have joined me today and are listening to this. And we're going to explore this word generous in light of around relationships today. And so not necessarily about the giving of money, it's about sharing who you are, sharing you, sharing your feelings, your thoughts, and your time in light of connecting, authentic connection and well-being. So why do we need to do this? Why be generous about who we are? Because sharing you builds connection with those around you. It is both healthy for our own well-being and builds connection and relationship with those around us in an authentic and deep way. We are really relational beings needing meaningful and authentic connection with people for our mental health. There are people around you that would absolutely love to get to know more of who you are and what is important to you or what makes you tick. But perhaps you hold back because you fear judgment from others, or you believe that what you have to offer isn't worth listening to or valuable, or that people don't want to hear what you think or get to know who you are. Maybe here is another perspective, that our perspective on ourselves isn't most likely what others are thinking about us. Most of the time, actually, it isn't. And sometimes the thoughts that we think about ourselves end up putting those walls that end up just disconnecting us from others, and the fears just stop us from really sharing ourselves and our lives with people who are safe, for us to do so. And in turn, it becomes a really lovely and thriving exchange with people that you are safe with, and so this is what I was thinking about with this word generous, because I observe people. I do a lot of observing and thinking, and it's mostly because I do care about particular things, relationships, mindfulness, mental health, well-being, and what would help to make this world a better place. And so relationship and connecting is one of them. And often when we have walls up, it stops us, it cultivates a sense of loneliness. But when we begin to allow the walls down and be able to connect with people who are safe with us, who you feel safe around, that appreciate who you are or are wanting to know more about you, then it can really bring a whole new depth to your relationships. And so in particular, I reflect on, family relationships. They can be, a challenge to navigate, and everybody's going through different things. Everybody's so unique and different, and that dynamic can be a challenge for everybody to connect. And if there isn't any communication and relating, then there can be misunderstandings, that happen, and also assumptions. And so that can begin to build walls around our relationships. And so it's really important to be mindful in our relationships and think about how we can bridge those gaps in our relationships to cultivate a more deeper and authentic connection. And how can we also address some of the fears that we have and be able to observe them and think, are these assumptions? Is it true? Is what I'm thinking true? Is there a way that I can find out whether it's true or not? Would it hurt if I reached out? Most of the time the answer is probably no to reaching out. You might be pleasantly surprised. And so this generosity is about sharing who you are and building that connection, and authentic and meaningful connection with people around you. Honestly, I know that there will be people around you that just would light up when they see you begin to share who you are, or just some deeper thoughts, about a particular subject. And I have been around, groups and tables where we begin to share, and I've noticed that there seems to be a hunger for that when someone begins to bring up a topic that actually sparks this, like, oh, someone's talking about something, quite deep, or it just gets their attention. And I think it's because people are looking for a depth. People are searching and are thirsty for true and authentic connection, and a safe place, a safe space that they can actually have conversations that they, with thoughts that they've probably been thinking of, and I'm just thinking of, it doesn't need to be any particular subject. There just is this need to have these safe spaces for people to be able to talk. There is room for small talk, and there is room for deep talk. So the different perspective is focused on, abundant and assertive living, because in my observations, I know I can see that the world is starved of true connection and vulnerability. Of course, there are people out there that are already creating this, and that's really awesome. And when I get around people that do this, that I'm around, and I pick up that this is what they're like, or they start this, you start to have deep conversations with them, I get really excited, because that is where the true weaving and interweaving of people and bonding and belonging and all that begins. And it's such an essential part of our well-being. I want to invite you to think of contributing to an environment that is wholesome and uplifting, around you, and what role that you could play in that, and what you could do to even expand that even more. And just small steps, because there are many people existing around us that are shut down, and they have the walls up because of the environment that's being cultivated around them, including what goes on the internet and social media. And so I'm inspiring you to be the difference, and to create something different, and to add to something more of what you're doing if you wish. So I'm inviting you to expand this so that we can experience new possibilities in our lives and in our relationships. And of course, being a safe space for people is so important. And so how can we be a safe space for people so that they can feel like, I can share with this person, or this person would be a nice friend or connection? How can we be a safe space? And the first thing is practice listening, and that is listening to understand and give space, rather than listening to respond. And so really being present, absolutely no judgment, and allowing that person to be themselves around you, letting them know that they have your full attention, being present with them, and perhaps even refraining from offering your opinion. Accept that they are different from you, and not to take anything personally, that especially if their opinion is different to yours, recognizing that some things that people think and their opinions on things can be triggering, and just observing that and knowing that it's not a personal thing on you, that they are allowed their own opinion, but it doesn't change the connection that you could have with them. Also, refrain from seeing someone as your assignment or mission, and knowing that you are not here to fix anyone. And actually, you're in your circle of influence. The most influence that you have is what you do yourself, and that's enough. Actually, it's thinking about how we respond, and also sometimes when we think of reacting, asking ourselves, is that needed? what could be the outcome if I shared this? And so just being mindful. And mindfulness helps us to step back and to pause, which is what I love about it. So start with small steps and begin to share who you are with those around you. Begin to be generous with this. Small steps could be sharing your feelings or your thoughts, your needs, and you may be surprised at who responds and who is hungry for this kind of connection around you. And I mentioned before, you may even see excitement and their eyes light up because they are picking up that you are sharing who you are, and they've been wanting the same thing. And so it's lovely when you meet somebody or meet few friends and it's like that, and then things just take off and it's so awesome. You can have some amazing conversations. And so that is the focus for today, is creating some spaciousness around this word generous, and pausing and sitting with yourself and reflecting on what areas can I begin to bring some walls down so that I can begin to share more of who I am and share more of my feelings, my thoughts. Perhaps it's your talents, your skills. And this is what I see as abundant and assertive living, because you begin to share your gifts with others, you begin to share who you are with others. And honestly, it can just cause your life to flourish in a way that begins to encourage others to do the same. And so if you wanted to think about a mindfulness visualization, is sitting and imagining some situations that you could find yourself in, whether it's your family, whether it's your friends, your workplace or your community, or just within yourself. You could visualize you being in those situations and perhaps taking those small steps and begin sharing with those around you and deciding on, what would you like to share, or how would you like the outcome to be, and how would you like your relationships to be. Visualize what you would like your relationships to be like and the feeling that you would like around your relationships, particularly the relationships that are really important to you, and begin to expand that visualization, the feeling of as if that visualization was happening. Begin to expand that and sit in it. So it's like your whole being and your energy is marinating in this amazing positive, energy, and it really just raises and uplifts you. Visualizing this is what you can attract in your relationships by doing this. So that is a simple encouragement for a visualization for the word generous in relation to your connections, living generously and abundantly in connection with others. I hope that you enjoyed this episode, and I am looking forward to the next one. And I hope that you have an amazing day, night, evening, week ahead, and love and blessings to you. Bye for now.